Hey, wow, I can't speak. Okay, that was embarrassing. All right, moving on. Okay, so I know Star is canceled this year, but we're just gonna at least continue on the plans that we had for right now. And we're gonna continue doing the Category 2 review this week. So Category 2 involves linear relationships, functions, things like that. We're gonna focus on three things today: slope, uh, writing a linear equation, so not just slope, but how do you write the equation itself, and then the reverse of it. How do you take an equation and graph it? Now, some of the stuff I uploaded here, you can tell it's a little bit buggy, but it'll be all right. We'll make it work. And no, we're not going to do every single one of these. Okay, so also apologies if things end up looking a little weird. It's kind of hard to do this with a mouse, and it's kind of the only option I have right now. Well, not the only option, but okay. Anyways, I'm gonna do this in red so it sticks out against this blue. Okay, so first things first is let's look at this slope. Okay, so there's multiple ways to find slope, but we're gonna do one of two. Okay, the simplest and most easiest is this: rise over run, and I'm gonna do that example on number one. Okay, so let me scoot this, zoom in, and we will mess with this. So rise over run is very simple. Okay, rise is when you're going up or down. Run is when you're going left or right. You always put the rise on top and the run on bottom. So notice here that I went ahead and gave you 2 points. That's important, okay, because you have to have 2 points and they have to be right in the middle of that line. So it's very simple. You just take these 2 points and you, again, if you remember, you create a right triangle with them like this. Your rise, if you're looking here, again, pay attention to direction. It's down 1, so that is a -1 for our rise. And then we go 1, 2, 3 to the right. So it's -1 over 3. We can rewrite this to look a little bit nicer and put the negative on the outside. Okay, and even then I messed it up a little bit, but it's nicer to have the negative off to the side. And that's it. That's how you find slope. It's just rise over run. Now, this is not always what you're going to have, okay? I believe I kept it down here. Maybe I didn't. Okay. So you're not always going to be able to just find the slope like this, okay? Uh, because sometimes they're not going to give you the line itself, so you can't do that rise over run. So what you get is you're going to have this here, and you're going to have to do that formula that we have. Y2, oh my god, I cannot write. Okay, y2 minus y1 over, and I'm going to go ahead and do the x's in green just to help us differentiate. X2 minus x1. So actually, you know what? I just thought of a better way to do it. Learning. Okay, so I'm going to do the y and x2 in green. And then I'm going to do the y1 and x1 in red. Okay, so let's mess with the y1, x1. It really does not matter which one is which. Just pick one. So let's make this one our y1 and our x1. So we will write the coordinates. So the x is 0 and the y is -1. Boom, there's our coordinate pair. Okay, do it for this one, which will be our y2. Again, you could have switched these. It doesn't matter. So this is going to be -1 for our x. And so -1, 1, 2, 3, 4. -4 for our y. Easy peasy. So now you just take this stuff and plug it in, guys. So since this right here, this -4 is my y2, -4. This -1 is my x2, -1. This -1 is my y1. And again, if it helps you to label them like that, 1, 2, then do it. Like, do whatever makes you successful. And then x1 is 0. And then, so now it's just a matter of working it out. So you do -4 minus -1, or in other words, plus +1, gives you a -3. -1 minus 0, you can't take anything away, so it's over -1. Now, we get -3 over 1. Most of y'all would just do this. Y'all would go and y'all would write -3, if Well, y'all would write it better than that. -3 over -1. Y'all would circle it and be done. That's incorrect because this is a fraction and this is division. A negative divided by a negative equals a positive. So it's just 3 over 1. So it's just 3. Okay, so I know that's a lot. Anyways, you can go back to any points of the video, pause it, rewind, whatever, if you need to watch me do it again. If it does seem like I'm going fast, that's because I only have 15 minutes to record these, so I got to fit it all in within then. So moving on to the next one. Okay, so now just to look here. So here we're going to talk less about slope and more about the equation of the line. So please remember the formula, and I'll write it up here. It's y equals mx plus b. Please remember that b is your y-intercept. B is where you, where the graph touches the y-axis. So if you follow this graph, boom, 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 there's your y-intercept. And then moving down here, follow the graph. Boom, it touches the y-axis. That's your y-intercept, okay? That's the first thing you need to always remember to look for, okay? So if we come here, I'm actually just going to work with these. Okay, so let me go ahead. I'll go ahead and rewrite this for y'all just because I'm nice. Mx plus b. Okay, so here we're going to follow this line. Boom, it's right here. So that means this b is plus 4. And it's a very long 4. So, plus 4. Remember that, so just think about the graph, guys. It's constantly moving. That means your y and x values are constantly changing. So that's why we don't actually ever write those, okay? That's why it's always just y stays how it is, and then x stays how it is. The only things we have to deal with are slope, m, and your y-intercept, b. That's all you have to look for. So now that we've found our y-intercept, which again is just where it touches the graph, we have to find our slope, which again is rise over run. So you just pick 2 points. Now it might be a little bit hard with this graph to actually find it all. Actually, no, this works perfect. So I'm going to have 1 point here, and then I'm going to also go ahead and use the point that we picked here. So this will be my 1, this will be my 2. So y2 is going to be 0, 4. 0, 4. So plug that into that formula from the other page, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So since y2 is 4 and x1 is 0, okay, keep going. y1 is a positive 1, and x1 is a negative 1. So it's y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. And I'm sorry I can't be more organized with this. We're already at 8.5 minutes and I still have another page to go through. So anyways, now you just work this out. 4 minus 1 is 3. 0 minus -1 is actually a positive 1. So yet again, we get a slope of 3. Now you take that, plug it back into your formula. The slope for this graph is y equals 3x plus 4. And if we go ahead and just write it a little bit more neat, y equals 3x plus 4. Okay, that would be the graph of this line right here. Alrighty, so one thing I do want to mention real fast is if you see a line like this going left and right, let me do it in black. So if you see a line going this left to right, it is going to be y equals and then some number. Okay, so like for example, if you look at this one here, since it's on the -1, this graph would be y equals -1. Notice that it doesn't have a slope because it's flat. In other words, it's 0x because 0 times anything is 0, so it just doesn't exist. So it's just y equals -1. It doesn't have a slope. Okay? And then the other one you could see is a straight line like this. And if it's going up and down, this is the only one that's unique. So I'll like star it because rather than it always being a y, if it's up and down, it's x equals, and then here I put it at 2. So here it's x equals 2. It's also known as undefined. Okay, so here Oh God, you can laugh at that. That's okay. Okay, so here we would call this slope undefined. And then here we would call this slope 0, just so you know. So this is a 0 slope, that left and right line. This is an undefined slope, up and down. Okay, and then this is just your regular work. Alrighty, it's a lot to do in 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and let's look at this. So now this is just the reverse of what we have been doing, okay? So what we're going to do here is, I'm going to zoom in a lot here because I really want to make sure y'all are paying attention or can see it well, right? So first thing you always do is your y-intercept, -1. So you just start at your origin, go down to -1, put a little dot there, okay? Now you look at your slope, so we'll do that in green. So again, remember that slope is rise over run. So you can do that. You can start here and go 1, 2, 3 up, 5 running. Notice that this is a +3 and a +5. That's why I went up. If this had been a -3, I would have went down. Same thing here. If this is a -5, I would go to the left. But it's both positive, so it's nice and simple. So up 1, up 2, up 3, over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you would put that point right here. And then all you have to do now is just, wait, where did this tool go? Oh, it's right here. Now all you have to do is just connect these 2 dots. And there you go. There's your line. Yeah, it's literally that simple though. And then if you want, I can come over here to show you again. So x = 5, you just go over to where x is 5, and then you draw a straight line at it. Boom, x = 5, and I guess I should do that in a different color so it sticks out. Boom, x = 5. Same thing here for the y = 3. You just go to the up to the y's when it's 3, and then this one is a left and right line. So notice when it's y = 3, it's left and right. When it's x = 5, it's up and down. Again, please remember the slope is undefined. God, I keep spelling that wrong. Slope is undefined. And then here, slope is 0. Notice that they don't have a slope here. They don't even have a y. And then also notice that here they don't have a slope. There's no m. And then I guess I didn't have any negative examples. Let me go ahead. I'm going to modify one. So let me take, let's see. Let me take, let's take this one because it's real simple and I can do it real fast. So -2, y-intercept. So go down to -2, put a dot. Okay, go to your slope, 3. It's 3 over 1. Now real fast, I'm going to make this a -3. Okay, so I'm going to pretend this is -3 over 1. Again, it's rise over run. So you go 1, 2, 3 down. 1 positive would be to the right. There you go. Now you just connect it with a line. Boom. There is your line for y = -3x - 2. Again, you put your y-intercept, and then you take your slope, which is 3, which is actually 3 over 1, or rather -3 over 1, and then you solve. Alrighty, so that really does it here, guys. You can go back to any parts of the video if I did it too fast or slow to look at it again for your notes. But anyways, so your work for the most part is going to be through either Pearson or Study Island, and I will be providing well, for Study Island, I won't provide you the links because I'll have the assignments for you, but for Pearson, I'll provide the link to the Pearson login, and it should log you in automatically from the Google Classroom, but it may or may not. I'm not sure. Either way, this is trial and error for all of us, guys. Anyways, if you have questions, you don't need to comment on the Google Classroom. You need to send me either an email with your Gmail, like your student Gmail account, or you need to send me a message on Jupiter Ed. I'll be checking both constantly during y'all's hour. Alrighty, yeah. I may open a Google Classroom, we'll see, but anyways, I'm about to be cut off from this, so I hope you'll have a good rest of y'all's day.